Damn it. What's up? Weekly Metal Reviews here with an album review. This time of Sevendust new album, Blackout the Sun. This comes out March 26th, 2013, and tomorrow. And man, this is the follow-up to 2010's Cold Day Memory, which I thought was a fantastic album. This band might be more of a radio band, more of a rock band, you can say, or hard rock band. But I've always had so much interest in this band. I love this band. They have such an edge to them, and a really nice edge to them, but they still have that, you know, the rock type elements of the huge choruses and, you know, the super catchy songs, but they had some really crushing shit and some really solid albums. And I've just always loved Sevendust. I loved their last album, Cold Day Memory. I love Seasons. I loved their debut. Shit, I mean, Chapter 7 and Alpha, you know, they were pretty good too. Animosity's pretty good, but I don't really know. I really dig Seasons. I really dig Cold Day Memory as my favorite Sevendust albums. So yeah, the new album. I was pretty excited when they announced this album. I'm like, damn, you know, a new album from Sevendust is gonna be awesome. And it sure as hell is. That when they released the first single, Decay, I dug that song and I really liked it. I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever. It really didn't catch me right away. It did eventually, though. Very great song with a very crushing breakdown in the middle and at the end of it. I really liked that breakdown. And it was a fairly decent song, and this whole album is very solid. I might just have to listen to it more, but after a few listens, I don't know if this is like my favorite Sevendust album or Sevendust's best album yet. It's definitely a good album though. There's some really great songs on there. The album starts off with a very kind of eerie, creepy acoustic guitar type thing, and I really dug that. I thought that was an excellent setting of the tone for this album, that it's going to be dark and it's going to be heavy and it's really in your face, this whole album. And then it busts into Faithless, I believe it's called. That's my favorite song on this album. The second track, Faithless, is just so amazing. That riff that just hits you right in the beginning of this song is just amazing. The chorus is awesome. This is just an overall excellent song to listen to. Such a heavy song, and that's the thing about Sevendust. They might be a more mainstream or radio band, whatever you want to say, but they are heavy as shit. You can't deny that, whether you like them or not. They have some heavy shit. And they have a very thick and just dark and just amazing guitar tone, and that guitar tone is just so much better on this album to me. I thought the guitars just sounded phenomenal on this album. Not that they haven't in the past, they just sounded so good on this. And it's definitely evident with that first song, Faithless. The album then, you know, continues on with some, you know, how do I put it? This album sounds like Sevendust sounds. I mean, if you're going into this expecting Sevendust to change up their sound, they definitely haven't. They're Sevendust. And this album is Sevendust. It's very, like I said, it's crushing. It's very catchy, very melodic at times. Some very nice solo work on this album, and some nice drumming. I always feel that Sevendust's drummer is one of the most underrated when it comes to rock bands, more modern rock bands, and he's a phenomenal drummer, and the drumming on this album is excellent. I have to say though, kind of in the middle of this album, it kind of stalls a little bit. I want to, maybe not stall, maybe that's a bad word. It kind of wanes a little bit and just loses where it was heading. You know, the first three or four tracks are awesome, and then it just kind of falls off a little bit. But then the song Dead Roses out until track 12, I forget what that one's called. It's just phenomenal. Those 4 songs are so amazing. When I was listening to Dead Roses, I was just like, wow, this is awesome. The ballad towards the end of this album is phenomenal as well. And I sound so stupid right now. The first single, Decay, is in that part as well. Decay fits right into this. It's probably my second favorite song off this album, but Dead Roses is phenomenal with a very just catchy, energetic chorus. This album is very energetic at times, besides the ballad. But sometimes it's such a ball of energy that really just punches you in the face over and over again. And I mean, you kind of have to listen to Sevendust to know what I'm talking about, but I just love how they just punch you in the face so many times, and then they have a very melodic and very catchy, over-the-top type chorus, and just it's phenomenal. When it comes to the vocals in this band and on this album, the vocals sound as good as they've always have. No complaints with the vocals at all. I love the singer's voice. I forget his name, damn it, but he has such a unique voice when it comes to rock music, and I love his voice. I love how he kind of goes back and forth between his, more traditional singing voice, which is just an awesome voice and vocal, and he kind of alternates between that and more of a shouted type vocal, which I think is phenomenal as well. They really make it work. It's not something that's like forced, a little shout here. It really does work. And then on the song Till Death, there was actually some screamed vocals on there, which kind of took me by surprise. I honestly didn't expect that. I know Sevendust is an aggressive band, but they don't scream. They do more of a shouting. On this one, there was a few lines that were actually screamed, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And then there's the scream lines, and then comes in the cleaner vocals, and the way they just alternate on this album, throughout this entire album, and on all the songs, and even in Sevendust past work, it's just awesome how they make that work. And overall, the vocal performance on here is as good as any Sevendust album to me. I mean, it's not like the best Sevendust vocals ever, but it's not the worst either. It's just right on par with everything they've ever done. I was talking how this album, how Faithless and Decay are my 2 favorite songs on this album. And this album is full of really great songs, but I feel it could have been trimmed by about 2 songs. I did not dig the last song, Murder Bar, at all. I thought it was just kind of pointless in a way, and it just wasn't. It didn't grasp me. It was kind of like you could have just threw this song out, and the album would have been maybe a little stronger, because I feel it just drags on by about 2 songs too much. If it would have been about 10, 11 songs, it would have been just so much more solid, I feel. Even though it still is really solid. I don't want you to think that, having, a few more songs that I would have liked detracts from this album. It really does not. But I feel it could have been a more stronger, cohesive unit. And the production on this is top notch. I mean, you should kind of expect that from a very huge rock band, all over the radio and stuff. So there's not too much to really go on about the production. It sounds phenomenal. Everything really does. They really captured that Sevendust sound with that heavy guitar tone with some phenomenal drumming. And phenomenal vocal work. So the production's really good. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have to say about this album. Sevendust, Blackout the Sun is fantastic. It's a very solid album for this band. It's a very solid album for modern rock music in general. And I honestly think if you're a fan of, you know, metal in general, this band appeals to people that are more into metal because of their heavier side, the more edginess and more balls that this band has compared to, I don't know, a band like Seether or 3 Days Grace or something like that. You know, this band has a lot more balls. You know, a lot of metal fans like Avenged Sevenfold. Now, I mean, you can say Avenged Sevenfold is metal. I see them as rock nowadays. That's just me. I feel their songs are more rocky with a more metal edge. That's how I feel with Sevendust. They're a rock band with a metal edge and metal influences, and that's how I see that. And I feel this band can appeal to more metal fans and this album. So anyways, check out Sevendust, Blackout the Sun. I'm gonna give this about an 8.5 out of 10. This is a very solid album. So bye.